between a dozen different apps and services just to keep the lights on. Enough of that, now there's Odoo, the all-in-one, fully integrated platform that might help you actually get it all done. Thousands of businesses have made the switch, so why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. Support for the show comes from Retool. Too many companies run critical operations on duct-taped spreadsheets, Slack workflows, and whatever else they could cobble together, not because they want to, but because building internal tools means weeks of waiting on someone else's backlog. That's where Retool comes in. Build custom internal tools just by describing what you need. Prompt something like, build me a revenue dashboard for our Salesforce data, and Retool actually builds it on your company's data in your cloud with enterprise security built in. Go to retool.com/waveform. We all need to retool how we build software. Support for the show comes from Framer. So the reason you create a website is so that your business can thrive, but some websites just don't look the part. Framer can help with that. Framer is the enterprise-grade, no-code website builder used by teams at companies like Perplexity and Miro to move faster. With real-time collaboration and robust CMS with everything you need for great SEO, not to mention advanced analytics that include integrated A/B testing, your designers and marketers are empowered to build and maximize your .com from day one. So whether you want to launch a new site, or test a few landing pages, or migrate your full .com, Framer has programs for startups, scale-ups, and large enterprises to make going from idea to live site as easy and fast as possible. Learn how you can get more out of your .com from a Framer specialist, or get started building for free today at framer.com/wave for 30% off a Framer Pro annual plan. That's framer.com/wave for 30% off. framer.com/wave. Rules and restrictions may apply. Support for the show comes from Zapier. When it comes to bringing AI into your workflows, there's no shortage of hype, but turning that hype into something real and actionable starts with the right tools. Zapier is putting ChatGPT and Claude to whatever tools your team already uses. Teams have already automated over 300 million AI tasks using the platform.
3.5 minutes of ads? Holy shit. Surely it's not 4 minutes of ads before I even get to listen to anything.
Support for the show comes from Odoo. Running a business takes everything you actually get it all done. Thousands of businesses have base. I'm going to do that too. I'm going to hide my doc. So why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
No more doc for me.
Wow. It's committing to it.
I'm committing.
I like that.
I don't click on those things. I just do command space.
I'm going to do that too. I'm going to hide my doc.
Is this something we can all agree on?
Because I'm a Raycast guy.
I was going to say,
I can't.
The real end to this whole debate is everyone has way too many tabs open and just do whatever you want.
Nah, man.
Well, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I liked Arc in the first place, because I have way too many tabs open and it closes them for me.
You don't want Arc, you want an AI browser owned by Atlassian.
Yeah, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marquez.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm David.
This week, we've got NASA coming back from the moon. Sick. Chrome adding vertical tabs, which we can talk about if they're actually better. Or not.
What?
Samsung messages shutting down, Anthropic Project Glasswing, and how ANC to headphones is causing potential safety issues, and how a car company's trying to fix that. And we'll end it all with Andrew's Whoop rant part 2.
Update to
Part
it.
2.
Yeah. I also put "and" like 4 times in there, so it just sounded like you did a really run-on sentence. That's my fault.
Hey, it's the intro. It's got to be a run-on. But first, did they even test this?
Those are flat. That's a
no one's on Pixel right now, right?
Just
So none of you have experienced this. The new flashlight.
Lots of greener pastures.
Nah, mine's greener for sure.
Yeah, look at that.
Or yellower. The new flashlight quick setting is driving me insane. This only happens in Google Quick Settings and only if it is the 2x1 tile width. So pressing the button, if you press just the little tiny circle of the flashlight icon, it turns the flashlight on.
Okay.
But if you press the whole thing, the setting comes up, which is flashlight strength.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is a good setting.
And it turned on.
It turns it on, but then you can either press turn off or done, and it stays on. I think the more specific adjustments should be the little button, and the big button should just be on and off. Every time I turn this on, I get a menu setting, and I hate it. And I think
I see what you're saying.
if you want to be specific, that should be the smaller touch real estate.
100%.
Okay.
You know what that reminds me
Thank
of?
you. I wonder if anyone else is having
No,
it.
that makes
Because
sense.
everyone I've asked to test this presses the little button, and I'm like, am I insane?
I mean, that's fair, but regardless, like a bigger touch target should be the more common.
The
use
more
case.
general thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Thank
That
you.
reminds me of, when on the dynamic island on the iPhone, I think I said this in the review.
You back on the air?
I'm on the air.
Why?
I'm using another camera phone with like an incredible camera, so let me try to use the air.
Okay.
That was a fair question. You sounded a little offended by him asking.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I think that was a totally fair
this is the first time I've stuck to the air for more than 2 days.
I want to try the air, but I don't want to spend $1,000 to try the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only black phone they sell. So.
Fair.
The dynamic island, when you're playing media, you can either long press it, which brings up the little pop-up, or you can tap it, which brings up the whole app. I think I felt since the beginning that should be the other way around. I should tap it to show the controls, or I should long press it to dive into the app.
Yeah, that sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the things that can happen accidentally should be the less annoying things that happen.
Yeah.
So like tapping both of those should just be the really quick thing that happens.
Yeah.
Where the more intentional version of it should be the more granular.
Dive in.
Yeah.
That kind of related to that. You know how pulling down on the iPhone on the left brings up like one menu setting, and bringing down the one on the right brings up the quick settings.
On the left is notifications, on the right is quick settings.
Yeah, that's annoying. Because
Yeah.
to get to notifications is really hard,
Yes.
especially on the Macs.
Yep.
Like I can almost never do it. And it makes sense to want to get to quick settings like quicker, but I can almost never get to the
What do you think you go into more, settings or notifications?
quick settings, because if I want to do notifications, I just lock my phone and then swipe up.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
interesting.
funny. That is fast.
Yeah, that's actually my tick.
Like lock, swipe up.
Yeah, when I'm like anxious, I don't know what to do, and I'm just like kind of locking my phone.
Your unlocked number must be crazy high. After you
Dude.
did that.
Yeah,
Do they track that?
they probably do.
Oh,
We should all look
Your
at that at
phone
some
can
point.
track it. You can see it.
I didn't know that.
Digital well-being, or
many
I forget what it's called on an iPhone.
is that on
It's called
Android?
the same thing.
It's called the same thing. Digital well-being.
No, it's called like
No.
Screen time.
Screen
something
time.
health.
Yes.
Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I looked at my screen time this week, and it was not good. I was monitoring the situation.
Are you on iPhone?
Yeah.
Did you turn off joint device screen time? Because by default, it sums every device that's signed into your iCloud account.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to be like, how do I have 18 hours of screen time? And then I realized, it has my entire workday.
Oh.
And I usually have my devices. Maybe they.
And
turn
that
this
doesn't
off.
actually track if you're looking at it.
This is
No. So if you have like jolt of caffeine or something on,
Yeah.
like you can have 24 hours of screen time.
Oh, wow, okay.
But
That's good to know.
Maybe they turned it. This was like as of a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good one, Andrew. I agree with you that the bigger touch target should be the more common
Although,
use case.
if I can quickly
Shut up, Adam.
be the
Yeah.
Just agreed with me.
Devil's
Don't butt
advocate.
this. Yeah.
I feel like the reason why the more complicated thing is the tap is because they measure time it takes to do something, and that's what they're optimizing for.
I'll fully admit that the reason they did that is probably based on the literal statistics that they have
Yeah.
on the phone. I just
They're
think those
just wrong.
stats are wrong.
Yeah, but feelings don't care about your facts, Andrew. Come on. All right,
Let's talk about
let's
it.
talk about
Hey, this week
rockets.
NASA sent people around.
I was speeding up
the
just to slow
moon.
down. What the fuck?
Is the moon a planet, Andrew?
It's very specifically worded.
Could be.
There are so many interesting things about this, and I just figured we could just pop through some of the most fascinating ones. First of all, the Artemis 2 mission is what it's called. These 4 astronauts went, they launched, they slungshot around Earth, they then
Oh, it's
flew
filming, that's
a
why.
250,000 miles to the moon, slungshot around the dark side of the moon, and then came back to Earth.
I know, I just
think
hate
by the time
variable
this was
speed.
on
I
Friday,
like
that's when
to
it
see the
splashed
same.
down in the ocean. So, like a week-long mission, and about 45 minutes of that was spent behind the moon, which is the farthest any humans have ever been from Earth. Pretty sick. So cool.
Yeah.
They took some incredible photos from back there,
Yeah.
and they also sent them back to Earth for us to look at before they even got back here. And the photos are incredible,
They're so sick.
and I have so many thoughts. Okay, first thing we started seeing is this is I guess the first mission where the astronauts were allowed to bring personal devices into space. meaning their iPhones and Android phones. And so we did get images from their smartphones as well sent back. And that's awesome. That's really interesting. Probably some of the best moon photos any phone has ever taken because they're super close to it.
Yeah.
We all like to think we can take moon photos from our phone, but
The Earth photo was the one that was popping off on Twitter.
yeah,
which
so
was very funny.
they
and all
looked
over the
great.
place.
They took photos out the window of their space shuttle, and you could see like Earth rise as they got further and further from Earth. The Earth got smaller and smaller, and then they got closer and closer to the moon, and the moon got bigger and bigger until they like slingshot around the moon. I had to Google this. They went within like 5,000 miles of the moon's surface to do that gravity slingshot. So they were really close. I mean, in the scale, in the scale
of the universe.
like, they went 250,000 miles, and then they got within 5,000 miles of the moon. I think that's pretty cool.
Compared to the biggest possible thing we can measure, it was pretty close.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any thoughts on the shot on iPhone photos that we got from our
Holy
audience? I
moly,
thought
dude,
they were
stop with
pretty
your
cool.
variable speeds.
I thought they might end up as a billboard
You gotta pass
pretty
me.
quickly.
There's no way.
Yeah. Some people had takes against that. They were like, let it just happen organically.
I'm fine with
and it's fine if it's never a billboard, but also missed opportunity from Samsung because Samsung.
Well, I saw some funny
counts.
memes because you know the photos where they took the photo of the moon in the foreground and then Earth was in the background, which is like the opposite of what we usually see. There was a really funny meme where like the moon was in the foreground and then the background was a moon. It's a shot on iPhone. I mean, shot on Samsung.
Samsung, yeah.
I was like,
I saw a bunch of those, like, if Samsung did this. I saw people complaining, like, wow, it's a real shame they didn't use a Samsung for this photo with its zoom. It's like, you're in space.
you're literally in front of the moon. Why do you need?
You don't need the zoom. You're in space. This is literally the opposite. Also, it was the iPhone selfie camera.
There
Which
was
is
some
really...
selfie camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I might get canceled for this,
Do it.
but
Maybe not. I'm just kidding.
no, I just don't think it's. People are like, wow, it's insane that this is the selfie camera, and I was like, well, yeah. You
I just thought it was cool.
If you took, yeah, it is cool, but it's like, yeah, it's the selfie camera. I mean, you can do photos with the selfie camera. Like, what's so insane about that?
I guess it's like, I think more so is that this photo itself is incredible because it's Earth and we just don't see it. It really has
For
nothing
sure.
to do with the camera.
Yeah, it's just-
Any phone could have basically taken it.
It's just the perspective. It's not even so much about the phone that's taking it. It's that we have all these, like when you open your phone camera roll and you see the photos you took and that's your perspective from the last couple days and you know what a photo from your phone usually looks like.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think that their camera roll, they open it up and it's a photo looking down on Earth from 250,000 miles away and like a shot of the moon which is somehow right next to them. Like that's just such a crazy thing to imagine.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know, humanizes it or like puts it into perspective for us to appreciate that that's really how it looks to them sitting looking out that window.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff.
It'll be funny in like 20 years when they're scrolling really far back in their gallery one day. And they're like,
Memories.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
this happened 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Just like
6
the
years
Earth.
ago today.
Yeah, what is the AI gonna say? Like it'll
Yeah, it's like
show you like
you in
your lunch or your
California.
dog, and it'll be like you on the moon. Does it know that they were on the moon? Like what is it gonna say?
You know how you can track your location in Google Maps, like going back all the way?
It's just like
I wonder what happens.
Yeah, what does their find my
Fog of
say?
World would have went crazy.
Fog of World is like, where did you go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what, you have people's pins on Find My. Where do you think those pins went?
Oh,
It's
that's
just off the grid, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I do a little camera breakdown of all the cameras they used on this?
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people were confused why they were using the Nikon D5, which is a camera that came out in 2016. And I've been screaming about this for years, and this is actually like finally starting to get better. So the reason they use the Nikon D5 is because of the very large pixel pitch. That's the size of the pixel on the sensor. If you have a bigger pixel pitch, you get more light per pixel, which means lower noise. And for space photography, that's very important because most of the background is black.
Yeah, not a lot of light.
Yeah.
So some people are asking, why did they shoot with the Hasselblad? The Hasselblad is 100 megapixels. But each one of those pixels is tiny.
Very tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6.4 is very big, and like 10 years ago, it was more common to have a bigger pixel. It's only 20 megapixel camera, which is fine. Like that's still a lot of resolution for like if you want to use it as a desktop wallpaper or something like that. It looks very DSLR-y. They did also use a Nikon Z9, which is Nikon's like flagship camera that's out right now. That has a pixel pitch of 4.35 micrometers, so it's a little bit smaller, still very good. 45.7 megapixels. Obviously, they're going to want to be able to zoom in on some of these pictures. They used a GoPro Hero 4 Black, which I saw some really cool photos of.
They did make that an Instagram post.
Yeah, in the Instagram post.
That's like 7 or 8 years old at this point.
Yeah.
We're on Hero 11 or 12 or something, I think.
Yeah, I was kind of curious why they did that. It might have been a similar thing with a bigger pixel pitch. I didn't actually look at what that pixel pitch was.
I think what happens is these programs take so many years to build that they're not using typically state-of-the-art. Like when they build this Artemis 2 thing, they're using the 2019, 2020 cameras when they start building it. So even though there's newer cameras available today, that's the stuff that they started with.
Seems like that would be the easiest thing to just switch out, though. You know,
they're probably similar resolution, but like computers and dimensions and stuff, they just lock that stuff in.
Yeah.
It's the same reason like the software used to record the podcast, the stuff called Wild Tracks, and like we're generally like 6 or 7 versions behind the most recent version because like God forbid, like we just can't validate every single aspect.
Yeah.
If we use one too many threads and it interacts with the lighting software weird and it crashes and it uses an episode, I'd much rather miss a few features and know it works.
Yeah. Don't test in production.
And that's on a podcast. Like picture it in space.
Yes.
There's no Best Buy in space.
If anything, GoPro really should have done the marketing campaign because they're like a
that
dying
feels
company.
way more up there.
I don't know if they're allowed yet. I saw someone saying
No, I know.
because NASA's like government funded
posted
and
it.
everything. like,
Yeah.
you would have to reach out to the individual astronaut
Yeah.
and ask them for their permission.
None of
already on
True that is,
Instagram.
but
There was a lot of misinformation online. People were saying, "Oh, Apple probably paid for it." Like, no, there was actually confirmation that none of these companies paid to have their devices.
It's
used.
wild to think that when you just look at like these astronauts are from the U.S. and what the U.S. iPhone market share is, it's really easy to
It's
deduce
off,
that
yeah.
they probably have an iPhone.
And also,
It's
by
just
the way,
device.
everyone's like, "Why Nikon? Why not Canon?" Nikon was the first ever camera in space, and the reason that happened was because one of the astronauts just happened to be a photographer, and he bought a Nikon like before he went up into space, and he just took some pictures. And that was before Hasselblad. That's before Hasselblad started making their custom Hasselblad cameras for space, which they left some of those cameras on the moon, which they should have just retrieved them because they've been there since 1969 or whatever.
Oh, the cameras are still on the moon.
Yeah, the cameras are still on the moon. They just took the film backs because they needed as little weight possible to be able to get back.
Space litter. We should go retrieve those.
Next, we have the iPhone 17 Pro Max for the candid photos of the moon through the window, which I think was very sick.
Those are fun.
They're just very sick. They're very cool.
Yeah.
They had 80 to 400 millimeter lenses for close-up shots of the moon.
Those shots look insane.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the most detail we've ever seen of the moon. I think my favorite shots are the ones that are wide angle through the window of the spacecraft, so you can see like the window frame, and then you see what they see outside the window frame.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to picture what it would be like to be on the spacecraft, but those are the shots that help me best understand what they're seeing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then overall there were 28 cameras placed inside and outside the spacecraft, which is very cool. If you go to the NASA website, they've been uploading all of these basically in real time. I mean, with a slight delay at the speed of light. But they're really cool. If you download the original images, you can get all the metadata for it. And these are very good OLED wallpapers. And I don't think that they're going to be OLED, right as you download them, but if you take them into Photoshop and you lower the black point to 0, then they'll become OLED.
They'll look incredible.
So yeah, I'm definitely planning on using one of these as a wallpaper for sure.
My favorite photo that I've linked in the doc, which is the second link there, it's on Flickr, is the eclipse that they saw. So when they flew around to the dark side of the moon, there's a brief moment where the sun was behind the moon and the side of the moon was being lit up by a reflection of the Earth. So they had the rarest solar eclipse of all time. Nobody other than these 4 people have ever seen this perspective of a solar eclipse. And they took a photo of the moon, which is just this ball floating in space in front of them, on a Z9. It's like a 2-second exposure, and it's just the trippiest. I can't believe it's a real photo. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then all of the background, you see all these stars and planets lined up and galaxies in the background behind them. Incredible wallpaper material. One of my favorite photos I've ever seen, for sure.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely.
it's already the wallpaper on my phone.
the glow in the back.
So good.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing that a lot of people were curious about, they did live stream a lot of this. I remember watching the launch on NASA's YouTube channel on last Wednesday, there was like 2.8 million concurrent viewers, which is pretty sick. What a lot of people don't know is they kept streaming for a week and showing like the perspective of the astronauts as they got closer to the moon and farther from the Earth. And you might be wondering how they did that, because there's no internet in space.
Yeah.
They just were sending information directly back to, I think there's a series of 3 satellites on Earth, or at least one of them is always pointing towards the moon, or one of them is always pointing towards a spacecraft, no matter where they were in orbit. So they were always able to send data back to Earth, and that's how we have, this little super low res, but effectively live stream of the astronauts. And it's 1 light second away tops, so it's not that much of a delay as they send the information. So pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
Crazy they could live stream this whole thing, yet Netflix constantly can't get Love is Blind reunion streamed properly on time.
There's more demand for that, Andrew.
For Love is Blind? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think they get it right.
Yeah, if you want to go see those photos, download those pictures, go to the NASA website. We could link that in the show notes to make it easier. Speaking of, I really don't know how to make this transition.
Things that don't exist.
Things that don't exist. We can joke.
Saying allegedly every time you guys have talked about.
We can joke about that.
I don't even want to put it in.
I will say
that this is real.
No, stop. Don't put it in. The moon is real.
Come on.
there is a moment, there is a thing happening on social media where there's way more conspiracy theory content.
Yeah, because
I don't even know how to talk about it. It's just like obviously bait, and it's engagement bait, but it's also like there's never been so much of it, and it's never been so easy for dumb people to see it and probably just jump right along and believe it.
Or
Weird.
like you said, it's like that and rage bait, where people want to feel smart by saying no, you're wrong and stupid, which is engagement. It makes that person look.
Yeah.
So
The
don't
incentives are
engage.
bad.
Don't engage. See the rage bait. Just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
Dude,
Yeah.
this question, what was the first camera in space?
Yeah, okay,
is so interesting because
Yeah.
it begs the question, what is space? And also,
What is a photo?
What is a camera?
Yeah.
This is like bonus episode gold.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. I know that the NASA has been been using Nikon cameras since like 1971 or something.
71, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
There's some interesting,
Officially.
There's some interesting stuff in here.
Yeah,
The
there's
original moonrise photo was a Hasselblad, right?
Hasselblad was the first camera that NASA was like, we're going to work with a camera company and make a space camera.
Yeah.
John Glenn went to a drugstore and bought a Minolta that he had modified by NASA to be able to hit with a spacesuit.
Yeah.
But then in '61, like a few months before that, a cosmonaut brought a 16mm camera, like a Soviet 16mm camera. But then also, it seems like there were some missions with automated TV cameras out. There's some interesting. I think we should dive deeper into this.
Yeah. So Hasselblad made special versions of the Hasselblad 500 series cameras that basically are pump action because the astronauts wear spacesuits. The regular Hasselblad 500 CM has like a small little shutter button that is like very hard to, even with your regular finger, it kind of like pricks your finger a little bit. Not actually like through your finger, but it's like kind of hard to use. Anyway,
Bad design.
they made it a pump action, and then there's only 3 distance settings. There's close, medium, and far. They made a replica series 20 years later. They made a replica series of those cameras that they made 1,000 of, which I own one of them because I'm crazy. And they made these special backs that could fit like way more film than most cameras. But I should have brought that in. Maybe I'll bring it in next week and I can show you guys. It's pretty cool. Speaking of, did any
really cool things?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Speaking of really cool things.
Better than what I had.
Rolls of something.
Oh, that's a good call.
They weren't really rolls.
We did get to see Zach from Jerry Get Everything do a teardown.
Data sucks in Vermont. That's all I can say. Shitty Vermont data. Also, Starlink is supposed to be coming in the mail, but you know.
Of a phone that never shipped because
I
it's
guess they didn't
LG's
ship that to me yet. I only have the house Starlink, not the car
fun fact.
Starlink. So.
There's one in the mail here now.
What?
Oh, like we got it. I know
Did he
it's
send
on
it
the
to us?
way.
I have my sources.
This is breaking news to us in the studio.
Yeah.
That's every week. That's every week.
Yeah. So LG died in 2021 is when they shut down their like smartphone division. They stopped making
long ago?
phones. Yeah, 2021. I believe that's right. And so
That's a crazy way to say you murdered them.
no. So I was gonna say the last two phones that they shipped before they died was the V60 and the LG Wing. And I had a lot of nice things to say about the LG Wing, as insane as that phone was.
Crazy.
But here's the thing about phones like the LG Wing. No one else would try that.
Yeah.
And that's why we love LG,
Yeah.
and that's why they're dead.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
look, they also had a phone in the works that was like a rollable phone that went from a 5.5-inch phone and then kind of unrolled, motorized like a parchment to
Scroll.
an 8-inch phone.
Yeah.
Could have had it all rolling in the deep.
It's supposed to be 50.
Yeah.
That's a.
Is that street light?
Now it's 50. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so Zach got his hands on one. We will as well soon, and he immediately did a teardown, which is so his style. And you can see how over-engineered this thing is. There's
It's
two
really
motors.
cool.
There's two motors. There's this metal track inside. There's 3 spring-loaded arms. The whole thing like plays. It doesn't play sound. It makes noise as it
People
opens.
love speed.
And since it makes so much noise, they play like a musical chime to sort of try to
cover it up.
mask how loud that is. So it's really it's
That's awesome.
quite a piece of engineering, just like the Wing was. It's insane, and it never shipped. We don't know what they would have charged for it, what they would have called it, how they would have marketed it. But I do plan on like trying to use it.
I'm excited to get that. I not seen the video, but I am terrified at what that's gonna be like when he takes the knife to the screen.
Oh no, he doesn't do it.
He didn't do it in that video.
Thank God.
It was just
still
a bring
time.
it down. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still time. He could do that. But I suspect a phone like this would not be very durable.
No.
It would not hold water and dust out very well.
Yeah.
It has the soft outer screen totally exposed all the time.
No, that's what was really cool about it is when it folds into the back, there's an exterior glass screen that it folds underneath on the back side. And then so on the back, it's not the soft touch screen. I guess you're saying the front of it is
But
the
the
soft
front
touch
is
all the
always
time.
out.
But the back works when it's not unrolled as a back screen, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I actually like the way they engineered this thing was really impressive and probably would have been better. Made more sense than the LG Wing. It kind of was like, remember the Xiaomi concept that was like, we said like 200%
Oh, the Phoenix
screen to
Alpha.
body ratio. Yeah. It basically had a screen covering 60% of the back of it
Yeah.
because it rolled around the backside. But the internals are really cool. The way kind of those spring-loaded arms are actually pushing the whole battery and internal module with the screen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's some cool stuff. Definitely go check out his video. But yeah, he doesn't destroy it. He just actually uses it and takes it apart. It's the most careful I've ever seen Zach be. He's at the point where he's like, I am shaking opening this right now, and it's really funny to
That's
watch
not
him do
the
that.
type of vibe you want for a phone that you use.
It's like a relic. It's like you don't want to do any damage to it. It'll be interesting to see when we get it here if like using it in real life, because the front screen is soft and it's never really protected as you use the phone. So it's there's no way it's as durable as a regular phone.
Yeah, no.
But
I do like that sort of half screen on the back.
It's
that
really
he just
cool.
uses to see like his calendar and stuff like that. I think that's pretty smart.
viewfinder for the camera.
I would buy this.
It's cool. You should definitely go watch that, and I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
Speaking of alternate form factors,
And never getting shipped. What? I guess it was shipped. But
well, this might ship. This probably will ship. iPhone Fold. Actually, this entire week, there's been articles both about how the folding iPhone is maybe delayed and not going to ship in 2026, and then maybe it's actually not so delayed and it is going to ship in 2026.
And both of those articles were posted from the same website on the same day, which is why the only reason I added this, I think it's so funny that Mac Rumors had an article called "Foldable iPhone Engineering Delays Could Push Launch to 2027," and also iPhone Fold expected to launch on time in September despite delay rumors.
So is this what hedging your bet looks like in real time? This is crazy.
It's the nothing ever happens theorem.
Basically, both of these articles were just two different sources saying what they think is going to happen. One's German, one's a Japanese newspaper, I believe. I cannot pronounce the name of who wrote the article, but the one thing I did find interesting in terms of what they seem to agree on is while this is most likely going to be announced at the same time as the iPhone 18, even if it's quote unquote on time, it probably will not be delivered at the same time as the iPhone 18.
Yeah.
So I have no idea if this is going to be 2026. I think we will see the announcement in 2026. There's a chance this could be 2027.
Yeah, it would be the first time we've seen like a staggered release of the phones. I don't know if you remember the Mini and the Plus when they came out.
But that was only a month later.
It was only a month later.
Wasn't the iPhone 10 also a little after the?
Yeah,
True, exactly.
10 was after, and Mini, and that was COVID. That was like 3 though, wasn't it? It was like a couple.
There was like
there's 3 different dates of.
I'm not going to remember the exact order, but it was something like the Mini and the Pro Max came out after the regular and the Plus, or something like a month and a half later, which was easier to make videos about because they were staggered.
That was great, actually.
Do we want to take bets on this?
We already did.
Did we?
We've definitely taken bets on if iPhone Fold is coming out this year.
Yeah, but we got new information. So do you think that it will be announced and then come out later, like in 2027, or do you think it will be announced and come out in 2027?
I would not be shocked at all if we got this big, fancy folding iPhone Ultra and they said coming early next year. Or coming
You think
in
they said that in
December.
September?
Maybe not early, maybe December or something like that. I could easily see it being a staggered release to build some hype.
That's a really How far away can it be to still be considered a staggered release? That's my
typically when they release a new iPhone, it comes out like 2-3 weeks later.
My take is that if you announce something and then you wait too long, people stop caring. But Google had this problem with the Pixel. Every time Google has launched the Pixel Fold, it's come out a couple months later, and people just forget. Also,
every Sony phone ever.
Sony freaking announces them in September, and they always come out in December, and then no one buys it. Shocker.
Bro, they were proud of that too. I remember I talked about like some of the Sony stuff. It was like 10 months later they were coming out with the phone. And then they finally made huge strides and they were like, yes, we came out with the phone only 3 months after we announced it. Which is a big improvement, but it's still
if you just
way too long. Just wait till it's done and ready to ship and then show it off and then ship it. Anyway, that's another story.
That every company that's ever existed.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it would probably make sense as like a month and a half staggered, here comes the Ultra type of thing.
I could see it.
I got a hot take.
Okay.
We're gonna see this at DubDub.
See it? No shot. 0%.
I think your whole showing it off like with folding iPhone be like coming later this. I think that's gonna happen at DubDub.
Like we did with the Vision Pro.
Yeah, and then the phone itself will come out this year, but later.
That's possible.
I'm so torn on this. I love that take because part of me is like 0% no shot that happens. DubDub is for development and is for software, and any sort of hardware announcement overshadows all the stuff they want to show, like iOS 28. But on the other hand, the times that they do show new hardware, it's specifically exciting to developers. Things like the Mac Pro, which people could get excited to develop on, Vision Pro, which people could get excited to develop for, and folding phone, if you're making apps, you kind of want to start thinking about how to optimize your app for different screen sizes, so maybe it does make sense
unless they basically just make it so it's automatic and it basically becomes an iPad.
I mean, that's the thing they'll do for sure.
Yeah.
That's going to be their strength is like, you add one line of code and now it's like you can make an iPad app by clicking one button basically.
Yeah.
But maybe you want to have some special, animation for the unfolding or something. I don't know.
I think it makes sense like that. I just think DubDub this year is going to be too much worrying about having to re-announce Siri 2.0.
That's why I think they're going to do it. I think
cover that up.
Yeah, it'll be like, look at the excitement of the folding phone. Forget about liquid ass.
But that's going to look so bad if it's like, we have to re-announce the thing that's 2 years late, and here's the thing that might be late again.
I think they could spin it, because it's started to happen.
Pretend anything's going to happen.
Well, the thing that the take I've seen more and more online is that Apple being late to AI has actually been the best version of AI, which is, all these phones are just shoving AI down our throats, and Apple's kind of not doing that so much, and that's refreshing. We appreciate it.
It's also because
and they stick to what they're good at, which is good hardware.
It's also because Apple didn't really spend billions of dollars investing in this kind of stuff, and now that AI is becoming so commodified, they kind of have like their pick of the litter on what they want to utilize, right? So they picked Gemini because they had all these options. They didn't have all those options when ChatGPT in the iPhone got announced. That was like kind of the only thing that they could do, and now it's like this awkward like middle child that's like in the iPhone in a weird way, and they're probably going to get rid of that.
It's nice that they can do it, but it's also really funny knowing that they tried, and that was not the original plan, and that they failed.
They failed upwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got very lucky.
If you're gonna fail,
Yeah.
fail up.
And their stock is the only one that has not been impacted.
You
by
think of
AI stuff.
you think of Apple as this huge tech company, and if AI is the next big huge tech, then they must be a player in that space. But they're not a player in every space. They don't make everything. So search engine they don't make. They borrow the best one and show it to their users as a default, and maybe
It's
that's
not released.
well, yeah, exactly.
They definitely made
They don't. They're not a public competitor in that space.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of ending up true of AI, where, okay,
Yeah.
there's all these models, there's all these advanced development. They tried to jump in, it didn't really work, but their bread and butter is still the device that you use to do the AI stuff on.
Yeah.
People are clamoring to buy Mac Studios that finally have enough VRAM. If you could tether 3 of them together with Thunderbolt, you can have a machine that runs OpenClaw and have everything's local. Like, people are buying Apple hardware still.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to continue to be true.
Yeah, and I think ultimately they're realizing that people use different AIs for different use cases, and so they just want to be the main thing that runs the thing. They don't want to be choosing what you use with it. Like, Apple Intelligence, at the end of the day, is just an extension of things that the phone could basically already do. And so that doesn't need to be the thing that does everything. Like, you're going to use Claude on your phone, you're going to use Gemini on your phone, you're going to use OpenAI and ChatGPT on your phone, if that's the surface that you use.
Yeah.
And so, Google obviously has both and makes it, but at the end of the day, that could be a negative for them, because if Google's trying to force you to use Gemini and things work better with Gemini than they do with, say, Claude, and you're like a Claude power user, you might be more incentivized to use the iPhone that gives you more of a choice to use what AI you want to use.
Yeah.
So,
There is no world in which that happens.
why?
There's no way that Google, the open one, would be more closed down with which
I'm not saying it
AI
would be
you can use
closed,
than Apple.
but like Gemini is so embedded in Android.
That's on, like, Gemini will always have its
Android tie.
its Android tie and its inherent abilities to do more, but they're not gonna actively make you not use Gemini.
No, I know that, but it would be annoying if you're doing various things on your phone and it's prompting you to use Gemini. It's actively trying to move you towards a Gemini subscription.
Yeah, but I could just, right now, I could just change it to Claude, in the settings,
Change what to Claude?
my assistant.
I think that's probably what people are going to want from their phone, is the
Yeah.
well-integrated thing, which is why it felt like it made sense for Apple Intelligence to be really good, because that's going to be the one that works the best across all these Apple surfaces. It's going to pull my messages, and it's going to pull my calendar from Apple Calendar, and all these other Apple things. So I want the Apple Intelligence AI to be good on my Apple device, and of course Gemini will be good across all these Google services, pull from my Google Drive, Google Photos, whatever. So that's what we were hoping for from Apple Intelligence, but now they're just kind of giving us the choice of other ones that don't really talk to Apple stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a businessman. I don't know how money works. However, I've always understood Google's whole business model to be, we're going to either sell our hardware at a loss or with the slimmest possible margin we can do, because you're going to use all these Google services and we can harvest your data.
Yeah.
And so I kind of agree with David. I see going forward, Google's going to be like, you're using Gemini. Because if someone buys a Pixel and then uses Claude, they're losing money on
That's an L for Google. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
don't
on
make
the
money with the
Pixels.
Google, that's an L
No,
for
no, but
Google.
That's a Google.
You're
Yeah, it's an L for, I'm saying Google all of a sudden is not making, they're still harvesting all your data because they're using a Pixel,
Yeah.
but they need the Gemini data, I think, to really make it worth
I
it.
think my thing is that no AI is making money anyway. Google can just burn money because they own the internet.
Google will make money by getting training data off of your Gemini chats, and then also using the data they get from you via your Gemini chats to make your ads more targeted.
But they're getting that data already from the iPhone, which is giving them $1 billion on top of that.
I think they're
They don't
getting
need
That's a
the
good point.
3% of Pixel users to use Gemini. They're gonna let you use Anthropic.
I think I might have just gotten clapped back.
But what I'm saying is, Google is always going to be pushing you towards Gemini, right?
Yeah,
Because
for sure,
all of
for
their
sure.
services, all of the things on the phone, it's so embedded into the phone that it's easier to use Gemini. And so if you're a Claude super user, you might be kind of annoyed that now half of my context is in Gemini and the other half is in Claude. And whether or not that ends up being a thing that incentivizes people to buy an iPhone, it probably won't be. But it's just kind of an interesting interaction because of the way that AI has been commodified.
Well, more so, my point was, I don't think there's a world where Apple is more open with that kind of thing, with sharing the context between different AIs than Google.
I kind of disagree.
Specifically because Apple has the servers that they're making with Google in partnership. Like Anthropic has servers from AWS, they have servers from Azure, they have servers everywhere. Apple is not going to let your data go to some random server. They want control of the server, which they have a partnership with Google.
Yeah, and like the things that happen like autonomously with the phone are obviously like through Apple, through Google, through those servers that are, nothing touches it. I just think they care less about what AI that you use versus Google really, really wants you to use Gemini, and the market incentives will probably push them towards making Gemini the choice they want you to,
I think you both have really, really valid points in the sense that I really see where you're coming from, where it's like Google doesn't have as much of an incentive to lock you into Gemini as I thought they might have at the outset of this conversation.
I think,
But also, I do think Apple's opinion on this matter would change a lot more than Google's when you're talking about just like a normal generative transformer versus something agentic that's like monkeying around in your phone.
for sure. Yeah.
I think there's also probably a world where a lot of people at Google believe that if you do use...
I'm sorry, Andrew's face.
No, my Pixel makes me want to never touch Gemini.
Marcus, please, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
The look on Andrew's face was...
I guess I think that there's probably a lot of people at Google who believe that they want you to use Gemini because that represents like the next stage of all of the data harvesting that they do. And if you start using a different AI and start doing all these searches and all these queries and all this stuff, that represents a bunch of data that they're not getting.
100%.
And so if they're allowing people to move on from Gemini to a bunch of other stuff, then they slowly get less and less data from the old ways of gathering data, then they miss jumping the boat.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. They're basically transitioning from Google search being their primary revenue driver to Gemini. So if they're not getting if they don't have as many Gemini users, that's like a huge impact for them.
That's right.
I'm trying to envision a world where I can go into the iPhone settings and change Siri to Claude versus going into the Pixel settings and changing Gemini to Anthropic, like to Claude. And I'm trying to think which one is more likely to happen.
The iPhone.
Really?
Because just because of who's a player in the game, I think. Like the way you can choose your search engine now on the iPhone, you can just move it from Google to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Is the same because they don't make their own search engine.
Yeah.
I think when there is a Claude, an Anthropic, and a GPT and a Gemini, you can do that on the iPhone and pick your model as well because they don't have a competitor in that space.
But not to just regurgitate Adam's earlier point, but like I totally think that's the case with a chat. However, if everyone's trying to get these agentic models that can actually do stuff inside your phone, it seems to me like a more uphill thing getting Apple to let an agent run on someone else's servers, and I can't believe Apple would want to set up their own data centers.
Well, the agentics
to run other people's agentic models.
The agentic stuff is probably going to be a local Gemini Nano model, which is different from the things that are hitting the servers.
Yeah, but that sucks. I want local Claude. I want local.
Yeah, and I don't think that Apple is going to allow multiple different models for that because they want the user experience to be unique and the same across all devices. I could see Apple eventually working with Anthropic and OpenAI for the AI stuff that happens in the cloud, because then they're creating a marketplace where they can reduce the cost that they're paying to those model providers, and also it gives people the option to use whatever commodity that they use.
Hear me out. We do a bonus episode.
This feels like a
sorry. This is like a whole episode.
We get Tim Cook, we get Sundar, we get Sam, and we just go, who was right? Tell us who was right. Which one of us was right? Was it me?
I want to do a cage match.
This was not supposed to go on this long.
We were talking about the iPhone Fold.
No, but it's an interesting question, and it's one that we will get the answer to, I think,
in a couple months.
Pretty soon, and then we'll find out who was right.
Yeah. Okay,
you see that up by the moon? That's the rails. We are so far off the rails. Wow.
I was gonna add my one thing about AI phones, which is my Pixel. I came across this thing the other day where I was like, my Google Home, my Nest doorbell isn't giving me notifications anymore. What broke on this? And I realized I turned it off because I was getting so annoyed I changed my Google Home camera stuff for the notifications to it says you can use AI to search through activities that happen. But what it really does is not just that, but every time it sends a notification, it's this like really long, terrible sentence about what may have happened. And I got so annoyed at the notifications of like a person walks up from a delivery agent to the thing. It's just like, I just want to see there's a person at the door.
Yeah.
That's all you have to tell me. And having 30 of those notifications, I guess I got so mad I turned it off one day and forgot, and then realized a month later.
And there aren't like granular settings. To
There
change
might be
that.
something in there now. I just wanted it to be able to search like, did somebody drop something off between 2 and 4?
And that should work.
That I think
The
it's
search
so,
part works.
but
yeah.
the notifications are
did get
insufferable.
verbose.
And it's so bad. And it also, even though all of my family's faces are attached in there, it correctly identifies the person 1 out of 40 times.
Whoa.
Despite
Mine's pretty good at that.
almost looking directly at the camera,
Damn.
like face scanning it. It's-
Mine's pretty good. I
Mine's
did.
awful.
I remember the day I started getting the new notifications because it would always just be like person, movement, person. Now it's like a UPS driver dropped off a medium-sized box at the door, and I'm like,
But then you click that, and it's like Claire coming home with groceries. It's
Might have been pretty.
squirrel.
Might have been. I would say might have been like 90% way too accurate, and then 10% totally off.
Oh, mine's 90% totally.
That's weird.
Real quick, while we're talking about Ring, shout out to the new Ben Jordan.
Yeah,
video.
I saw the
Another absolute banger. It's terrifying.
Surveillance.
I just like to say hi to everyone watching.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That went quite a while.
can someone transition?
Samsung Messages is getting shut down.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I mean, it actually is a good segue because that segue was as abrupt as Samsung shutting down Samsung Messages. Because they're
That's
basically like, yo, peace, this shit's gone in July.
That's kind of a segue within a segue.
What is Samsung Messages?
So maybe like a decade ago.
Oh,
if you
boy,
bought a
here we go.
Samsung phone- No, this is not. I'll make it short. I'll make it short.
No. Yeah.
Samsung used to ship their own messages app, and you bought a Samsung phone, and there'd be Samsung Messages and have its own chime and have its own layout. It was just exactly like Google Messages or whatever. And I would always actually go to the Play Store and download Google Messages because I liked it better. And then one day, maybe 5-6 years ago, I'm not sure exactly when.
6 or 7.
6-7 years ago, they started just shipping Samsung phones with Google Messages by default. Like they stopped shipping it with Samsung Messages. They still supported it and it still existed, but they just accepted that people just use Google Messages when they buy an Android phone. And now it's a couple years later, and they're like, all right, we're not going to keep supporting Samsung Messages. So whatever service there was, it's gone. If you still actually use Samsung Messages,
Be very careful.
yeah.
The thread on the Samsung subreddit is very upsetting.
Well, if I'm on the Samsung subreddit, I probably am more likely to be a user of Samsung Messages.
Just what's crazy
I would
is
say
they're 2 months heads up. That's wild.
Yeah, that's
that's a
crazy.
really fast.
That's so
pretty
fast.
pretty fast.
What
yeah.
happens when it EOLs?
I assume you can't send messages using the app anymore.
That'd be insane.
It's gotta be.
It should just update and auto-download Google Messages and replace it.
I mean, that's essentially what you're going to want to do at this point.
Yeah, but it's crazy that they're making people do that manually. Like,
Well,
that's
I think they accepted that this would happen at some point, like 5 years ago when they stopped shipping it as a default on their devices. But they should have given people a heads up way, way long ago when they stopped shipping as a default that, hey, we're going to shut this down at some point. They probably just didn't know they were going to do it. And now they just decided they're doing it. And they're doing it in 2 months. So
Yeah, like
with
my
very
dad's
little
on a
time.
Samsung. I doubt he's gonna know to update before June or July. You know?
But is it update or is it
Yeah, what's
you
gonna
also
happen?
have to download Google Messages?
That's a great question.
I didn't understand what you're saying. Yeah, for the people who don't know, not everyone's going to see this thing. Are they just going to 3 days later be like, I don't know how to text that little
Don't worry, it's totally okay. Everyone knows Android users notoriously awesome at keeping their phones up to date. Okay? Literally the best user base for hitting the update button. They're going to be fine.
The Verge says 2024 is when they start shipping as a default Google Messages. I feel like it was way
That might be
before
possible. Well, they did it because of RCS. They were trying to like really force people onto Google Messages because for a while Google Messages and weirdly like Verizon Messages were the only apps that supported RCS.
Right.
And then they had that weird bromance with Google for a long time that sort of is still in action but not as much anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Okay.
strange.
Can I rant about the time? Sorry, quick tangent.
I like it.
Because it has to do with
First
Google
ad break's going to
Messages.
be 57
Yeah.
minutes. The next.
I got ratioed so hard on Threads.
Oh, yeah,
What did you do? What did you do?
Because
So I gotta find it.
I posted a screenshot of Google Messages on a Samsung device, and I circled the whole top half of the screen.
Oh,
It just says Google Messages, like the logo.
Right.
And I'm like, why is this here?
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's so, like, half of the screen is just
Reachability.
unusable information.
Why would you get ratioed for that?
Everyone was like, bro, just scroll. And I'm like, I know how apps work. I'm saying, why isn't there
It's just
useful
reachability.
information here?
Wait, there was a moment where everyone applauded that white space. They were like, wow, how thoughtful. I
Yeah.
can reach my
No, that's what
comments.
So that's the whole
what he's getting
point.
ratioed.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting ratioed, because One UI is like for one-handedness. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'm saying it's stupid because if you go to like Samsung phone app, they make use of that space. It's not things that you can tap or whatever, but it'll tell you like you have a missed call, you have like useful information.
Oh.
Why don't I have that in other places?
I have a question for you, because I haven't used Google Messages in a while. Can you pin message threads or messages?
You can, and it stays in the middle. It doesn't pin to the top the way it does on Apple.
Adam's just saying it should be usable space.
We're using
Yes.
West Smile.
Or not even well, yeah, I guess usable, but like tell me some sort of useful information.
It should just
If you
be
don't
a
want me to
clock.
click it.
Like,
just be a clock.
I would be happy with that.
Just show you
Just
the
a clock.
Yeah,
It's gonna
clock.
be ads one day.
Next topic.
Don't give them those ideas.
It's just gonna be a
Don't give them
giant
those
Gemini
ideas.
button at some point.
Yeah.
Samsung Messages shutting down. Less choice sucks. We're gonna leave a little pause here for all the people who are about to type just use WhatsApp. Go on, do it. I don't want you to miss any more of the episode. Got it. Almost. A little angrier. Perfect.
Less choice
I actually do save it
does-
with because
Suck, but I would never be sad to see Verizon Messages Plus implode. That's all I'm gonna say. Just saying.
That's a good take.
Fair.
That's a good take. Yeah. Break. We have talked for quite a while about a bunch of things, and now we should do trivia.
The next one is gonna be a nice, simple little section.
Well, it could be simple for the beginning of the
I'm just kidding. It literally says debate. There's no chance.
It's not really a debate. I think we're all on the same page.
We are not.
Oh,
I know not. Yeah.
good to know this.
Trivia.
Andrew.
Trivia.
Dude.
A little bit of foreshadowing after the break. We're going to talk about what is, in my opinion, the craziest tech news story of the year, assuming no one's lying. Anthropic's Project Glasswing. But the question is, where does the term glasswing come from? And it's multiple choice. A, glasswing is an experimental F1 rear wing design from the ground effect era of cars. B, a glasswing is a Central American butterfly with transparent wings. C, a glasswing is a type of parachute used by first responders to jump into dense forest canopies. Or D, it's an acronym. General Layer Analysis Screening with Integrated Neural GPTs. GPT standing for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
There's a
Nested acronym.
nested acronyms.
Wow. Okay. That is, I definitely wouldn't have gotten that without the multiple choice. I still might not get it, but we'll think about that. Answers will be at the end like usual. We'll be right back.
I don't think I want my parachute to be called a glass wing.
Support for the show comes from Zapier. When it comes to bringing AI into your workflows, there's no shortage of hype, but turning that hype into something real and actionable starts with the right tools. Zapier is here to help. Zapier turns strategy into execution, so you're not just talking about AI, you're delivering on it. With its AI orchestration platform, you can bring AI into any workflow and focus more on what really matters to your company. You can even connect top AI models, including ChatGPT and Claude, to whatever tools your team already uses, so you can incorporate AI exactly where you need it. That could be workflows, an autonomous agent, a customer chatbot, or whatever else. You can orchestrate it all with Zapier, letting you do more with your time. And it's designed for everyone, not just tech experts. According to data from Zapier, teams have already automated over 300 million AI tasks using the platform. So join the millions of businesses transforming how they work with Zapier and AI. Get started for free by visiting zapier.com/wave. That's zapier.com/wave. Support for the show comes from Framer. So the reason you create a website is so that your business can thrive, but some websites just don't look the part. Framer can help with that. Framer is the enterprise-grade, no-code website builder used by teams at companies like Perplexity and Miro to move faster. With real-time collaboration and robust CMS with everything you need for great SEO, not to mention advanced analytics that include integrated A/B testing, your designers and marketers are empowered to build and maximize your .com from day one. So whether you want to launch a new site, or test a few landing pages, or migrate your full .com Framer has programs for startups, scale-ups, and large enterprises to make going from idea to live site as easy and fast as possible. Learn how you can get more out of your .com from a Framer specialist or get started building for free today at framer.com/wave for 30% off a Framer Pro annual plan. That's framer.com/wave for 30% off. framer.com/wave. Rules and restrictions may apply.
All the way back in the year 2000, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos had this big idea that maybe the future wasn't typing, it was talking to your computer with your voice. Jeff Bezos didn't invent this idea, but he did push his team to invent what would become Alexa and the Amazon Echo, two things that brought voice computing into millions of homes around the world. This week on Version History, our chat show about the best and worst and most interesting products in tech history, we're telling the whole story of the Echo and how Amazon managed to get it right and still kind of miss the future. That's Version History on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts.
All right, welcome back. Got a little debate for y'all. So David Pierce wrote an article on The Verge this week called Vertical Browser Tabs Are Better and You Should Use Them, about how Chrome finally added vertical tabs to their browser, and then listed out some of the reasons why you should use them. So I know a lot of us on this podcast have some very strong opinions about vertical tabs, so I thought the best thing to do is to talk about how we like them or don't like them, list some of the reasons David Pierce laid out, and in true podcast fashion, we can debate him in a situation where he can't defend himself.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's very pro vertical tabs.
David, on the next Vergecast episode, you will respond. This is how we start YouTube drama. You got to make response videos.
Yeah, that's actually valid.
And we haven't done this yet, so it's time.
I think
It's time.
let's all start. I think you two are pro vertical tabs, right?
Here's my browser right here. Vertical tabs on the side. Yeah.
You think I'm pro vertical tabs? This should be common knowledge. Yeah.
It's also 75% of why I started using Arc.
Yeah, Arc. I mean, in the episode where I talked about Arc for the first time, I explained it so horribly, but the only thing where I was like, "This is amazing," was vertical tabs.
What about you two?
Vertical tabs all day.
Ellis? Yeah, thank you.
And horizontal tabs.
Horizontal tabs all day.
Interesting. And is this because you haven't tried or you dislike vertical?
His screen is square. So
That's actually very important for this.
Yeah,
Very
it's
valid.
even
for this.
better though.
When I'm browsing, I'm one of those people who is like stuck in the year 2011, and I use Command and 1 through 9 to go through my tabs. So
You just
memorize which
still do it.
tab is in which number.
it's not really like I guess. Then you make it sound like it's a big mental task.
Sounds like one.
That's how you switch between tabs, but you still have all of your tabs up at the top of your browser.
Yeah, but the buttons
They're
are
not hidden.
horizontal.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so
Ooh,
maybe there's a little
good point.
mental alignment.
No, it's just wrong the other way. Like sorry.
That's valid. Okay.
I'm pro horizontal tab with those.
Pro horizontal. And does that mean you're anti-vertical?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I'd be down with like a grid of tabs, and then I could use the numpad for that. But,
Yeah.
but they need to be in the
Grid of
same
tabs?
shape, like a 3x3 grid of tabs.
Do you have an numpad?
Yeah, on all my computers. Pro
Alice
Tools
has,
pretty
like,
much requires you to have a numpad. I use my laptop almost exclusively in dock mode with a keyboard with.
And like 400 peripherals.
Yeah. I'm out of USB ports on every single setup I have, which is hilarious because I have a CalDigit TS5. Like it's just anyway.
Everything.
Yeah, I like horizontal tabs, but I'm also a Safari user,
Yeah, that's crazy.
so I don't
So
know
you
if
don't
my
have the
opinions are super valid.
That's crazy.
Ask me where to get a minute.
It's crazy that you use Safari because if you're docked all the time, the battery life doesn't really matter.
And Safari is only good for one thing, which is battery life.
That's not.
I like the icon. Not gonna lie.
Unfortunately,
Commonly accepted facts. Commonly accepted.
Accepted by who? Lunatics?
I would say ask any browser
This
enthusiast.
is not what this conversation was about.
What are we debating?
Tagging Ellis.
Reason Safari is goated. It's okay. One, I'm on an Apple Silicon laptop. Battery life is going to be legit no matter what or where I'm going.
No, it's not. That's
Bro,
not true.
I'm a super turbo power user. I can at least get like 4 hours of battery life.
The difference between Chrome and Safari in regular browsing for
Scared me
several
when you said
hours
fucking
is
Troy.
shockingly high.
Huge.
Really?
Fuck.
Oh yeah.
Matter.
Oh my god.
This laptop
Holy
lasts is terrifyingly long-lasting battery on Safari
Yeah.
is average at best
Yeah.
with Chrome.
Wait, so why are we hating on Safari then?
Because
So
it's
you're saying you use it docked so
Yeah.
that the performance and efficiency battery gains that you get
Yeah.
are effectively not important at all?
The performance is super important.
Performance is great.
I like having
Once you
RAM on my
open it.
computer.
Valid, and I think
Yeah.
there's a little bit more of a, obviously people, depends on how much RAM you have,
Yeah.
where this argument becomes more important, but the like how long it takes to open the browser, I notice Safari's faster, and then once I'm into browsing, I notice effectively no difference. And the battery life is the main thing that I would use Safari for.
Interesting. Okay.
100%.
My thinking is, one, I do a lot of RAM-heavy tasks all the time. I really like having as much RAM free as possible at any given moment. Love that. Two, I'm a little bit of a security freak. Like over the past few months, I've become like way more freakish about my data, and I love private relay. Like I see private relay
Secure
like
private.
securing me all the time now. And then I guess I don't really use like browser extensions very much. Like not
there it is.
it's like very not often that I see a browser extension that I'm interested in, and then whenever I have Chrome installed on all my computers for when there is like a specific extension I need to use, but I have yet to find a single browser extension that I'm like, this is so essential to my life that I'd be willing to use 60 gigabytes of RAM.
Do you use the
This-
Claude and